Anita Ray and Patrick Agunza on the Hot Drive.
It's a Hot Drive with me, Anita Ray, and we have our guest in studio. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's called Mbijiwe. I have had a problem with that name.
I made it easy for you. Just say B and G and wait, then it's easy.
It's Mbijiwe.
Yeah.
Yes, no, it's quite easy. Welcome so much to Hot 96, and thank you so much for creating time for us.
Thank you. This is a very popular radio, and I'm deeply honored to be here today.
Thank you.
And anytime you need my service, please don't shudder to come.
Okay, thank you so very much. Now we start with you give us a proper introduction.
My name is Mwenda Mbijiwe. I come from a small village in the countryside of Meru called Kimbo, like Mafuta ya Kimbo, in Kibiricha. I am a former military officer. I trained and worked in the Air Force, and a time came that I felt that I needed to leave so I could advance my life in the area of studies. And when I left, I invested my life in studying and understanding security. Just about the time I entered the military, 3 months into my military service, we had the unfortunate bombing of the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi, and I was part of the team that the special force team from the Air Force that participated in rescuing people at the site. We spent the whole night there. This coming at the onset of my military career set a pace in my heart and mind and spirit to want to understand what terrorism was, why it was. I was about 20 years that time, 19 going to 20, and I spent the entire night, carrying dead bodies from the rubble with my colleagues, and all through I wanted to understand what terrorism was. So I invested my life, the rest of my life, to understanding what terrorism was, how we could deal with it, and unfortunately, our country even got caught in the heart of terror. And now what is going on, what happened 2 days ago, what happened at Garissa, what happened at Westgate, all these are signs that our country has been caught in that war. I'm grateful and glad that God had led me many years before this time to start to prepare myself to be of help at this time. I have been able to work even with government agencies like the Senate. I was contracted one time by the Senate to help refashion the law on terrorism, and I and a team of colleagues worked on that law. We guided the Senate. We were able, among other things, to ask the Senate to legislate a law to allow our intelligence community to arrest. Before that time, that amendment happened in 2016. Before that time, all that our intelligence officers did was they saw a terrorist, correctly identified a terrorist, then went to look for police to come and arrest. Now they have been given the constitutional power to make an arrest. That is why I'm sure, if time allows, we will talk about intelligence gathering and how does it happen. And we will want to understand from our intelligence community, if you found out, if you had intelligence about something that was about to happen, why didn't you arrest someone? And we gave you the constitutional and the legal framework and the legal mandate to make an arrest.
Okay, that is, you started on a very high note, so I think I don't know if we should start talking about what terrorism is exactly, because I want us to look at it from a civilian point.
Let's go to your topic. Maybe I'll come back something.
Just a bit back, so we can. But I want to look at it for me as a civilian. I'm in Dusit that day, and maybe I was having lunch with my friends, and then boom, boom, things just go haywire. How should I react?
Whether it's a terror attack, whether it's a tire burst, whether it is any form of disturbance around you, wherever you are at any one time, you need to apply what you call situational awareness. You always need to be aware of your circumstances, of your surrounding. This is why I get pissed off when I walk down the street and find young men who have earphones on both of their ears walking down the street. I know they're listening either to Hot 96 or please, if you're listening to me right now with your 2 ears covered, remove one and listen with the other. That's why you look at security officers, when they are even guarding the president, they only put the earpiece on the one ear and the other ear is alert just to hear anything around them. If God wanted you to hear music in your ears all the time, you would just create a DJ inside your head so you can have music throughout.
We're about to preach about this.
But the thing is this, you need to be aware of your surrounding all the time. Now, if you hear boom, or some bullet firing noise, this is in your environment. The first reaction should be you lower your elevation. I'm telling you, many times I walked down the street. One day there was a tire burst and I found myself halfway going down. Then
just a normal reaction.
Yeah, and I realized no one else was doing what I was doing, so I said, okay, this may not be so bad. Because they told us when I was in the military that if you're lucky to hear the sound of gunshot,
You've not been shot.
you have not been shot. Thank you. Looks like you were there. Was that the same squadron? You have not been shot, because more often than not, before you hear the sound, you're shot. You're already down.
True.
So if you hear the sound, get yourself going down, lower your elevation, and you don't lower your elevation and leave part of your body hanging in the air. You know, some people will put the head down and leave the butt up there. Then it can be shot as well. So lower everything down, be as low as possible. But then while you're there, do what we call observing the situation. Check what others are doing, what could have happened. Could it be a tire burst? If a tire burst, you just dust yourself and say, oh, thank God.
I am safe.
I'm safe.
Yeah.
But if you're not, then you'll be like that guy. The first person I saw on television talking about what happened at Dusit the other day said he was delivering a letter. He was a motorbike rider. And he said, as he came out, someone tried to shoot at him, or someone was shooting randomly. And he says, I went down and observed what was going on. You see, if you don't observe, then you cannot guide your reaction.
True.
You run like a madman.
You're blind.
You just have a stampede. You're running from nothing into nothing. You could even run into trouble trying to run.
True.
So when you observe, then after you understand what's going on, then begins the countdown to the next 3 reactions that you could do as a civilian. They're very, very simple. We say it is run, hide, or fight.
Run,
it's as simple
hide,
as that.
or fight.
Run, hide, or fight. Let me explain each at a time. Run. Once you observe the situation and you realize you have a little chance to get off that situation,
Yes.
please get away from that situation as far as you can. Use any means you can. If you can't run, crawl. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, roar. But get as far from that situation as possible. You see, when you're far from it, you can't be hurt.
True.
See? Now, if you can't get out of the situation, it means you're inside. So adapt to the situation, and the next step could be you hide. Look for anything that you can hide in, and there are 2 ways to hide. You camouflage yourself. For example, you could look for the nearest flower garden or some tree or some.
Let's explain camouflage to everybody, because I'm sure not everybody's gonna get it. But you find an environment where you can fit in without being noticed.
Absolutely. Like now we have pink around here,
It's
and
red.
I don't seem to be.
Men and colors.
Yeah, men. Oh no,
You
I'm
just
dressed in
proved
pink and that's red.
red.
No, yeah, I get it. I get it. Don't worry about men. We don't see colors.
Colorblind. No, it's okay.
you're
We can
kinda
live with
colorblind.
it.
Yeah, sure.
So find a color. If it's a green vest and you're in a green dress, just go in.
Try, yeah. If it's a green curtain, you're in a green dress. Try blend into the curtain.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could just be a slackie. You see, sometimes you miss death with a whisker. And so, yeah, whatever. Try blend into the environment. If you don't, then look for something hard that can protect you from bullets or explosion, like a table, a fridge. There was a girl at Garissa University that spent 3 days, I think not 3 days, 2 days, in a locker. She got into her locker and locked herself in. She got angry at some point and she was drinking, actually eating the lotion that you apply on your body. She made that her food. She survived. So you look for something that could hide you. You could climb into the ceiling. When Westgate happened, one of the teachers to my daughter at the time, the school that my daughter was attending at that time, the teacher was at the event. Remember there was a cookery competition out there?
Yes,
the teacher ran into the gents, he was a gentleman, and climbed into the ceiling, and somehow the terrorists just didn't think there was someone in the ceiling. They would even come use the gents, the terrorists, and walk out. He said he was there until Record Squad came to save him, So try to hide somewhere. If the building is in the danger of collapsing or it has collapsed, try stand by a pillar because pillars don't always collapse.
Yeah.
And if a pillar collapses, it doesn't break. So the chances are that you could, bend to the side of the pillar. I remember 1998 at the United States Embassy bombing in Nairobi. There was the lady called Rose, a very famous story about this person who survived in the rubble for quite some time. Rose had been trapped under a pillar. The thing that killed Rose was lack of oxygen, especially when so many people began to go close to her. There was no oxygen in there, and that time we didn't even have equipment to be able to know how we can fight terrorism. I mean how we can rescue people from terror attacks. We didn't even know we could pump in oxygen. That was the first time Kenyans were coming face to face with terror at home. Now, Rose died for lack of oxygen, but she was trapped. She was safe. She was between a pillar and a table, and the pillar had pressed on the table and created a little space for her to be over there. One of the prominent journalists, I don't want to mention her name, she works actually with you here at Raw Media. Her father had been trapped at a table. Eventually, when they found his dead body, he was trapped beneath the table. Everything had collapsed, but again, he also ran out of oxygen over time. Now, you look for anything that can hide you, even a wall that could protect you from flying bullets or sharpness from explosions. This is hiding.
Okay, so we have run, we have hide, and then there's fight. We're going to come back to fight. We're going to take a short break and come back to fight, but because fight is scary. First of all, I'm imagining as a woman, you're in that situation, there's bullets, there's a lot of noise, you have anxiety, you're scared. How do you fight? You don't even know to fight. I think you don't even know how to beat your kids, so how do you fight? We're going to be coming to that. If you have any questions, go to Twitter at hot_96 Kenya, at Anita Ray, at Patrick Igunza, at DJ Trimbe. Hashtag is hot96 drive.
Anita Ray and Patrick Igunza on the Hot Drive.
Exactly 30 minutes. That is 6 minutes after 4 in the PM. This is the Hot Drive with me, Anita Ray, and we have our guest in studio, and he's telling us how to deal with situations of attacks. And we started with one: you have to lie down and be aware of your surrounding all the time. Wherever you're sitting, you're having lunch with your friends, look around. You might actually spot someone with a gun even before they do anything. Just look around all the time. We are a generation of using our phones 24/7. Put your phone down. Can you check around you? Who's around you? Who's seated near you? 2, in case of anything, an explosion, something goes down, first put your body down, elevate your body, because he said if you had the gunshot or the sound itself, you have not been shot. So put your body down and make sure you observe. Just know what's going on so that you can know how to run or how to hide. Now we go to the fights. How do you start to fight?
Fighting is done in 2 ways.
Yeah.
The first approach is the soft approach.
Yeah.
Where, remember here, you've exhausted the first 2.
Yes,
you're only left with one.
Yeah.
After this one, you will likely live or die.
True. It's a life or death situation.
So try any of these 2 could work.
Yeah.
Start with the most likely one, where you decide to talk to your attacker and begin to remind him that he's human.
Yeah.
And that you are. This happened to a woman at Westgate.
Yeah.
She was shopping with her daughter.
Yeah.
And she was pregnant.
Yeah.
She's Indian. She's a Muslim of Indian descent from Nyeri.
Yeah.
And she was caught in the attack.
Yeah.
So she couldn't run. Which child was she going to save? The one she's carrying or the one she's walking alongside? I mean, she was helpless.
Yeah, true.
But she was in the Islamic hijab. She had a black, not quite the full hijab, but the black, scarf on her head.
Yeah.
So the terrorists could clearly tell this was a Muslim.
Yeah.
So when they got to her, she looked at him and made her last Islamic prayers. They make them when you're dying.
Yeah.
And I think that touched him, and she spoke to him. She said, "You are a worshipper of Allah, and I'm a worshipper of Allah. And if your day to die has come, you will die. But if it hasn't, you could have mercy on me and my children.
Yeah.
I'm pregnant with this one and walking with this one." And believe it or not, it was carried in the newspapers. The terrorists asked her to stand and leave. So she didn't believe he meant it. So she told him that you need to walk me to the door. Otherwise you will think otherwise and shoot me maybe from the back. He walked her to the door.
Wow.
It's a story carried in one of the dailies. The lady is still alive and lives in Nyeri.
Wow.
So she talked her way through. You could talk your way through. There were terrorists who attacked a bus in Mandera, one of the attacks. One gentleman tried to talk to them that, look, you're Muslims, but of course they killed him.
Yeah.
But he attempted. In a second attack, their talking helped.
Yeah.
They came out, gave Muslims, removed their clothes and gave to Christians. He said, cover your heads.
Wear the hijab, look like you're a Muslim.
Yeah, because if you can't talk it, at least look it.
Yeah, true.
So they look like Muslims, and the Muslim did the talking, and these Christians did the following. And they were like, there's no Christian here? No. These are Muslims, see the way they're dressed. And they told them to get back to the bus and leave. I think they killed 2 people only.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, when that moment comes, do anything in your power. And finally, the second way to fight is to decide to go the hard way.
Let's die.
You're going to die, so die doing something. It's better to die, trying than to die helplessly there, hoping, helplessly and doing completely nothing with your life.
Yeah.
So you could decide to gather as a team. This happened in the United States on the 9th of 11. On the 11th of September 2001, the famous 9/11.
Yes.
The terrorists hijacked 4 planes.
Yes.
The first plane was flown into the North Tower, and it hit the North Tower.
Yeah.
A few minutes later, the second plane hit the South Tower, and that plane was banged into the Pentagon. And now the 4th plane was going to, they say it was either headed to the White House or the Congress, but they're not further apart.
Yeah.
But if you hit White House or Congress, that's a big thing in the United States. So what happened was, but then a miracle took place that day. The plane delayed to leave the ground for a remarkable 32 minutes.
Wow.
So the other planes reached their targets 32 minutes ahead of these ones.
Yeah.
These were late. But then, when they took off from Pennsylvania, they began to fly towards Washington, D.C., and then they had to lower their altitude so they can see where they're going. I mean, the terrorists, they took control of the plane and then lowered the altitude and were flying low. But when you fly low, you have the advantage of cell phone network working.
Yeah.
And so people, 30 minutes ahead of them, people began to see news, CNN Live and other stations. America has the most television stations in the world.
Yeah.
They began to call each other. You would know Mr. Mbijiwe was on a flight that morning and say, hey, call that.
And you check on them.
Mbijiwe, are you fine? No, I'm not, because our plane has been hijacked. Oh, thank God. Are you still in the air? There's one that has banged the Twin Tower, 2 have banged the Twin Towers, and the 3rd has hit the Pentagon. Oh, thank God you're still alive. Then my colleague here would receive a call from her husband. Baby, are you still there? Yeah, baby, but we've just been kidnapped. Hijacked. Then the DJ would receive a call from his girlfriend, one of his girlfriends. DJ, I'm kidding. One of his girlfriends would call the DJ. Say, DJ, baby, are you still around? And you say, yeah, but I'm with Mr. Mbijiwe and we are with my colleague here. We have been hijacked. Then they will say, there are planes hitting buildings. Then there was a discussion here. Hey guys, look. Twin Tower has been hit by a hijacked plane. Twin Tower South has been hit also with a
hijacked plane.
And the Pentagon
has been
hit by
a hijacked.
It doesn't matter how nicely we play this one. We are going to hit something.
So let's play.
So let's do something. What do you think we can do? The lady, the attendant, offered to boil water. She said, I'll go to the back of the plane and I'll boil water. Can you think of something with water? There were some serious young men there and said, yeah, hot water can do something. They boiled water, fill it in a container, and 3 men charged on the terrorist with the water. Poured it on him, choked him, broke his neck. Then they boiled more water to go to the cockpit now. When the man in the cockpit, there were 2 terrorists who were flying the plane. When they heard the noise in the back, they foolishly opened the door to come and see. And they found one had been strangled and 2 men were waiting for him at the door. They went down with him, so 1 terrorist was remaining. Now these people didn't know how to fly a plane. But then, they also decided they were not going to start this fight in the city. They were going to wait until the plane, approaches a forested area. And so the fight began on a forested area. And once the fight began, there was no turning back. The terrorist who was now flying the plane, who knew how to do it, decided, hey, you guys want a fight? Okay, bring it on. He turned the plane down, pulled the throttle, and the plane accelerated to the ground. It hit the ground and sank in. Parts of that plane have never been found to this very day. But everyone died, but they saved the United States from the shame of an attack on their White House and an attack on their Congress. But what I'm saying is, sometimes you realize I'm gonna die.
So let me try to do something. We're going to take a short break, go into sports with Kianda, but when we come back, I know you have questions. I can see the phone ringing. I'm going to be talking to you, Kianda.
Anita Ray and Patrick Agunza on the Hot Drive.
See you on Saturday at 8:30.
No, there's a day as no one and there was no peace. Anyway, the biggest difference was the entire operation, how the special forces and their auxiliary supporting forces, the other police, units supported each other in coordinating the operation. Westgate, there was confusion because Wrecker Squad, always their training is get on site, clear the enemy. Wrecker Squad don't concentrate on saving people. They concentrate on clearing the enemy so that others can save the people. So they came within no time at Westgate. They had cleared first floor and they were pushing the enemy upwards. Then as we were getting to second floor, the military came, the military special units, and there was confusion on command and control. The special forces from the military were uniformed. Those from Wrecker Squad, they jump from bed or wherever they are and they come to scene the way they are. They only carry the equipment, but dressing, they aren't keen about it. So when one KDF special force saw, one the leader of the Wrecker Squad dressed haphazardly, he thought this is a terrorist. He shot him and killed him, and that caused the main problem. The Wrecker Squad were angry. They pulled out the young man. Actually, they pulled him themselves, walked out with him, and they completely withdrew. Wrecker Squad always appear on scene, hit and go. You remain to even carry the dead body. It's none of their business. Them is to eliminate the threat and leave. The special bomb units come to detonate the bombs, but theirs is to make sure the terrorist is not alive to trouble you. Now, this operation was done differently. The Inspector General himself, in his second statement about 8 o'clock that night, said the one leading this operation is the GSU commandant. For me, that was awesome because it meant the GSU commandant has been allowed to allow his men, the Wrecker Squad, to do their job. The special forces from the military and the Air Force came, but they was offering auxiliary support, and they were insubordinate to the Wrecker Squad in terms of the operation. Not that in seniority in military and forces rankings, the military is senior, but when it came to this operation, it's an internal security operation. It's led by the police, and I'm glad they let the police do it. Of course, the other difference is the police boss himself, IG Boynet, was the one giving statements. The other time, it was Olelenko who didn't know which mattress and which bomb has what smoke. And the IG that time could not pronounce the name Siege. He was saying it's Silege. So if you can't understand the word itself, how would you even understand the problem that word has caused you? So he didn't even talk that time. He sat the whole time like a stooge. But this time, Boynet led, with a sharp spirit. You could see he's alive.
An authority.
An authority led from the front and gave the statement.
I remember there was a time you came to analyze when the Garissa University was bombed. It actually took some time for the security forces to respond to what had happened there.
Yes.
I mean, this thing happened in Nairobi. How safe is the rest of the country? Because I think the Wrecker Squad is based somewhere in Nairobi.
Yeah, on Thika Road.
How quick can they respond if something happens, let's say in Bungoma?
We still have that problem. In fact, one of the challenges we got this day, or rather Wrecker Squad got this day, was movement on the road. At one point I saw a video, I don't know if any of you had on social media, someone driving their car stopped to take a video of the special forces stepping out of their car to beg people in traffic to give way to them. For me, that was a law. You see, we need to have quick movement. You see, terrorists in active shooter, the active shooter is alive and active for the first 6 minutes. In the first 6 minutes, he's done everything he came to do. You see, in 6 minutes, that guy had detonated himself, the one who did it at the garden.
Yeah.
In 6 minutes, the others had found way to certain areas where they were targeting. If you cannot respond, say, in another 6 to 10 minutes, he has achieved his mission. Whether you kill him or not, he has killed your people. So response time. Active shooters don't come to live. They don't come to shoot and leave. In fact, even though we screen people from the scene, usually you won't find them there. Because they didn't come to site to kill so that they could run away. They don't even have an exit plan. When they are planning, they have no exit plan. Their exit plan is death. They are going to 72 virgins up there. You know, I think the infatuation, the obsession with 72 virgins is too strong for them. They don't want to. If you don't kill them, they'll beg you, kill me, please. It's my.
I need to go to my 72
virgins.
So basically, what you're trying to say is that in terms of response, we still have a long way to go.
Not very long. I think we did fairly well. That day, Mr. Kinoti, the DCI, was on site within 20 minutes.
I'm saying if it happened somewhere outside Nairobi.
Outside, even Reke Squad needed to come with choppers. You see, that day, even if the choppers don't land at the very scene itself, because sometimes the snipers from the enemy could shoot on them, but it could land, say, at Kempiski. Kempiski has a helipad. It could even land in their open grounds there. You know, it can even land in the middle of the road. We could stop traffic and have them land in the middle of the road. The thing is, response time is still lagging, and I was saying earlier, I'd been consulting for the Senate. This is one of the things we wrote to the Senate. We said we need to give the Reke Squad helicopters, nothing else. Forget about fixed wing planes, because those are limited on where they can land.
Yeah.
We need to give them helicopters that are agile, that can move with agility and tactical advantage that disadvantages the enemy.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. I think tutacheza huko tukitoka kitambo sana. Thank you so much, Kianda. And now that is, I think you have summed up everything in all. And I'm going to give people a chance to talk to you. We're going to play one song that you also requested. And then we're going to come back. We're going to steal a bit of the first link so that people can talk to you on phone. 0722 20 88 20 or 0734 20 88 20. I'm loving the fact that there's a discussion on Twitter and people are repeating the same thing I said. We are a generation, sadly, of people who spend 75% or 90% time on our phone. I could be walking. I saw a lady get hit by a matatu number Tisa in town because she was actually on her phone. She didn't see it.
Oh my.
That's
another one fell into a hole. There was this City Kanjo holes. She walked all the way inside.
Comfortably. Yeah. Walk yourself into trouble. As we wind up, the normal kawaida security. Yeah. How do we deal with it? Carjackings kwa barabara, kwa matatu, siku zimekuwa mingi.
Normally, some of these burglars and carjackers, they are not coming to kill you. The motive is not like the terrorist motive. The terrorist motive is completely different. They want to kill you.
Yeah.
Loss of life is their mission.
Yeah.
But these criminals, burglars who come to your house, carjackers, sometimes they're looking for the money you're carrying, or they're looking for the television in your house.
The valuables, actually.
Yeah, let them have it. Don't fight. Play nice. Be humble. Even if you have anything you can harm them with, either you hide it or let them know you have it. For example, if they hijack you and you're armed, you could let them know, I have a firearm, because they'll see it.
Yeah.
Usually you have it hanging in on your trousers or in your bag, because when they see it then and you didn't tell them, they'll feel very threatened. They could shoot you.
They will think you are hiding it to use it against them.
The best you can do is negotiate with them and actually cooperate. Sometimes they even kidnap you or hijack you, take you to your ATM machine. And by the way, that quickly reminds me to mention, I see a lot of women, and I know the Nairobi women, the modern women, is listening to Hot 96.
Oh yes, they do.
I know they carry all their ATM cards in a pouch, and they like swinging it open, especially at the till when they are paying in the supermarket. So you could see they have standard NIC, whatever banks there, Barclays. That is so unsafe, ladies. Leave all your ATMs at home and carry only the one you need. And if you don't need it that day, stop the show off. Because if you fall in the hands of the wrong guys, they'll be going around with you for 1 week, going from bank to bank and taking you to the hiding and wait for midnight the next day to take you out so they can remove money from all your ATMs. I do this voluntarily every time I'm standing at the till, and I've seen this with women mostly. I am very gracious with them every time I introduce myself politely. My name is Mwenda Mbijiwe. I do security training, and please let me offer you free advice. I won't charge you.
Stop showing off.
Don't bring these cards out again, all of them. Leave them at home. If you fall in the wrong hands, you will remember at Hot 96 you had a crazy guy.
He's not crazy though.
Saying leave your cards at home.
Thank you so very much, by the way, for coming. I totally think we have to do this over and over again because security is paramount. Security is me and you, and I think now we're gonna next time I want you to come and talk about different types of security, how people get attacked, mostly for us as women, how we can protect ourselves, how we can actually be able to tell danger. Iguza really want to talk about that, how you can sense danger. People are saying you can't, but sometimes you can. How do you react when you see someone walking with a gun and you're like,
actually, time allowing, we could even talk about how, for example, the terrorists did reconnaissance at Dusit. They have 7 steps. We look at them and you can bust it at any one of those steps.
We're going to invite you again.
And please, when you invite me, invite the DJ.
Oh, he's here every single Thursday. Yeah, oh, he's playing your music. Thank you so much. Have an amazing Radio pre-weekend. Have a super amazing weekend.
Anita Ray and Patrick Agunza on the Hot Drive.